Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is January 19th, 2016, and today is Tuesday morning. Looking at the economic calendar today, really just two major numbers coming out. One at 11:30, that's a GBP number, that's a CPI core price index number. It's an inflationary number that's coming out at 11:30 South African time. And then at 12 o'clock, we have a euro number. It's a German Swiss sentiment number coming out. So ultimately, they're a part of the puzzle. So I can't say that they're the most important numbers of the month, but they definitely chain up to be some of the more important numbers of the month. So looking at the markets yesterday, not a big day. It was Martin Luther King's birthday yesterday. It's a national holiday in the United States, and therefore markets, the U.S. markets, were closed yesterday. But altogether, the euro was quite quiet yesterday. We just a little bit of a trickling down here, and we're literally right in the middle between this 109.55 and 108.28 level. So, ultimately, it's a hard bet at this situation or a hard trade. I would wait until it either went to one of the two extremities here, either on the upside or the downside, in order to take a trade. Looking at the USDCAD, that sold off. If we look at here, it finally sold off. I mean, this is the first major sell-off, I should say, since it's had this tremendous rally. As you can see, it's the first red bar since about November, end of November time. So January has been a bearish month for the USD versus the Canadian dollar so far. So we're back at these previous levels. Looking at a 4-hour chart, it's not a bearish month, excuse me. It's just selling off here just towards the end. Just maybe people are booking their profits, so on and so forth. But this thing is still a big in a big trend and a big tear. As you can see here on a monthly chart, it's still green. Okay. We had sold off a little bit, but still, it's still very strong. So that's looking at the USD-CAD. Maybe it'll continue. The trend is your friend, as we used to say. So I would look for that. Dow Jones was closed yesterday, but we're opening up this morning and bouncing a little bit here. So let's see if this is going to hold this level at 16,074 and bounce above the 16,100 level. We have entered a bearish market. This has been official already for a few months, as you can see. Looking at oil here, we're trading at still $29.60, still under $30 a barrel. So I don't expect oil to bounce anytime soon, and it may even go to $20 a barrel. Who knows? Okay, that's a little bit hard to tell at this stage, but it's still relatively weak. I think we're gonna consolidate here and trade in a range, but ultimately it's still very, very cheap for the price of oil. Looking at gold here, gold kind of just tapered out yesterday at 108.89. Not really trading much yesterday. Nothing to really write home about. Looking at the GBP Japanese yen, that did really sell off, and it's still in a sell-off. As you can see here, possible entry points for after the bounce, I would say 169. Okay, unless we get a bull flag and we come somewhat above this 171 level, we could still see it on the long term. It's still a sell. I mean, it really rallied a lot over the past 2 years. The Japanese yen really weakened against the foreign markets, against the USD. Against the GBP, certainly. The GBP Japanese yen, like we mentioned last week, is a leading indicator. It usually goes first and then the USD Japanese yen. But as you can see here, the USD Japanese yen didn't sell off as hard. So the USD is still very strong against the international markets. Surely against the ZAR. Let's look at that right now. We sold off from our high of 1766. And we're trading at 1672 at this stage. So I'd like to see a correction in the ZAR. It's going to be hard to say when that correction will actually happen because it is based on commodity prices and the domestic export of South Africa. So ultimately speaking, you know, it's due for a correction, okay? Because, you know, anytime you have this tremendous runoff, that's usually a correction that comes right afterwards. But you know, what's a little bit more concerning is that, you know, since we've been in 2011, we've been in this constant upwards trend. The depreciation of the rand has been constant since 2011. Now, you know, not to say that it's going to go back to 8. It may surely not. But the question is, how far of a correction will we have? Will we go back down to about 1382, or will we stay in this 15, 16, even 17 levels? So that's the question I think everybody's asking themselves. How bad is the situation in South Africa, and can it be corrected a little bit over the next, let's say, 2-3 years? So that's something to take into consideration on the macro level. But on the micro level, there's definitely opportunities to fade some of the markets, to, you know, place both sides, especially on the long side, as this is still in a trend. Okay, I wouldn't say this is a reversal and now we're going to correct ourselves and we're going to hit 11. Okay, I don't have that confirmation yet, neither in the candlesticks or neither in the technicals. However, you know, you have to think about a correction always, because these markets are usually fueled emotionally and not rationally. So you have to take that with a grain of salt and consider that when you're trading. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. I want to wish you guys a great trading day.